Brilliance Audio presents All the Walls of Belfast by Sarah Carlson, performed by Sarah Carlson and Gary Furlong. The plane broke free from a sea of boiling blue-grey clouds as we made our final descent into Dublin. Brilliant green pastures boxed in by hedges zipped under us, just like I'd always imagined. The lady in front of me snapped a million pictures out her window. I wanted to too, but I didn't want to look like a total tourist. My favorite song by Fading Stars played on through my earbuds. "Flight attendants, cross-check and prepare for landing." The captain's voice cut over Martin Benjamin's smooth voice. My heart stuttered. July 3rd, 2012, the day I'd meet my dad. My father, Peter, a man I'd never known, in the flesh. Yes, Mom and I had lived with him until I was 2.5, but I didn't remember a single thing about those years. And since then, there'd been nothing. Not a word from him in 15 years. And now he was down there, waiting for me. Not the unshaven brute in a stained wife-beater I'd always imagined. A week ago, just minutes after I'd finished my last final of junior year, the truth had all come out. Mom had lied to me for a decade and a half. My deadbeat dad had always wanted to be in my life. Every time Mom had taken me to Old Brick Gardens when I dropped my penny into the koi pond, I'd wished for a dad who would show me Jupiter through the telescope he bought me for my birthday. I'd never had that, and it was all thanks to Mom. I still couldn't believe she'd kept him from me. In a way, I understood her reasons, but... The plane shuddered as we touched down. I was officially back on the island Mom had taken me and fled from. Tingles swelled from my stomach through my arms and legs. "Welcome to Dublin Airport," a flight attendant with an Irish accent said over the intercom. She repeated it in Irish as the plane taxied past a row of other shamrock-marked Aer Lingus planes. Tall green letters spelled out Baile Átha Cliath Dublin on the terminal we approached. Belfast apparently had an airport, 2 actually, but there were no direct flights from O'Hare, and Mom didn't want me navigating 2 layovers alone my second time ever flying. So Dad was picking me up in Dublin, the cabin filled with the clicks of unfastening seatbelts and low voices. I pulled my messenger bag from under the seat in front of me and tucked my phone into it. Following the slow flow of passengers off the plane, I wondered if the others would be waiting for me too. The others were Patrick and Seamus, my half-brothers. I'd known they existed, but just as fabled, faceless beings. Patrick was 7 years older than me, and Seamus 3. Their mother, Dad's first wife, had died giving birth to Seamus. Mom was still their stepmom, legally speaking, since she and my father had never divorced. I even had a 6-year-old nephew, Finn. He was Patrick's son. I couldn't believe all I'd missed out on. I was an aunt. As cool, damp air wrapped around me on the jetway, I caught a whiff of nostril-burning jet fuel. Apparently Ireland did not smell like Irish spring. I'd have to tell Nevaeh her prediction was wrong. I hugged my green canvas jacket tighter around me. Inside, signs in English and Irish directed people with European Union passports to the left, non-European Union passports to the right. The Americans from our flight stood stranded in a long line, but I walked right up to an immigration officer. I peeled my clammy fingers from my Irish passport as I handed it to the officer. The immigration officer flipped through the empty pages, then raised an eyebrow at me. I'm visiting my dad," I said. His brow inched higher. My cheeks warmed. "Welcome home, then," the officer said. Right past immigration were a bunch of signs with Irish flags that said, "In Ireland, drive on the left." But one word echoed through my ears. Home. I'd always felt cool when I casually let it slip out that I was Irish, and not in my great-great-grandmother rode a boat over Irish. But now that I was here with actual Irish people, I wasn't so sure. I was on another continent thousands of miles from home and everything I knew. And Mom. About to spend 2 weeks with a man who wasn't allowed to enter the United States because of his sketchy political past. My father. Grainy images about the Troubles flashed before my eyes. Men with guns, ski masks, and aviator glasses. Bodies littering the streets, shattered buildings. A fresh wave of adrenaline pumped through my veins, firing my brain into a chaotic mess. A week ago, the decision to come ASAP had seemed logical. I'd figured it would be like cannonballing into cold water rather than sticking a toe in. But now Dad was waiting just a few yards away, and before this, I'd only spoken to him for 10 minutes on Skype. My heart pounded like I was waiting for the starter pistol at semi-finals, times 100. My feet fused to the floor. Nevaeh was right. This was totally insane, and I hadn't even told her the whole "surprise, Dad was in the Irish Republican Army" thing. I hugged my messenger bag to my stomach. Maybe I could just hop on a plane back to Madison. But it wasn't like he was one of the real bad guys. Mom had assured me it wasn't like he'd killed anyone. He was just a small-time guy who knew some scary people. And things used to be different in Northern Ireland. His cause, Mom had said, hadn't been without justification. We'd already lost 15 years together. Time to polar plunge. I uprooted my feet and walked on through customs.